You guys sing Grace Water? You got that Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man. Somebody hit my music.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! Fuck you, PrizePicks!
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! All the skin, man, I hate enough! Fuck you, PrizePicks! My whole clique are at the fuck you up! Fuck you, PrizePicks! Population, we are not the same! Fuck you, PrizePicks! We get to win and take everything! Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this spread. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage said if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpooling to the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Betty on the host, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all the money, ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Bob and Johnny, that's your motto. Fuck you, PrizePicks. And if you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
And here we go.
Welcome to the last Balking Dead of 2023. And of course, guys, I couldn't do it alone. And I'm glad it ends on a Friday because I wouldn't want to talk baseball with none other than the guy sitting next to me. Spin Doc Sports, how you doing, my guy? And how you been?
Man, I just tweeted it out today. Just added it up. Last 35 days, 64 and 30. 64 and 30 and up 25 units. So life is pretty good right now over here, knock on wood. So
It's been really good for us, bro. I know we've been texting each other every day and we talk all the time. And man, another fucking day. Oh, these books hate us. And I'm like, yeah, bro, this is stupid how it's going. And I'm kind of mad I haven't bet every under I've warned everybody on this show about. I know they're on pitch counts. I know this because I've lost money in prior years, so I'm telling them not to bet the over. I know you've been betting a lot of the unders. I fucking have just been like, what am I doing, man?
almost every single one of them I've hit of the pitchers that are in the whole,
Burns, like Wheeler, anybody else like
Wheeler, that? Sonny Gray, Pablo. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Talk about Pablo, and I'm like, bro, Lance Barrett. And I go, I don't fucking care.
Too many.
Everything has to go right and then some. And it didn't go right for him, even though it fucking started 5-2. Didn't end that way.
Well, Lance Barrett did his part. Don't get me wrong. But then, and some of my people were kind of freaking out. But I'm like, trust me, at this time of the year, the pitch count will catch up to them. Like, there is no way they're going to let their game one starter throw 100 pitches today. None. Zero. It's just not going to happen.
No, they're not doing that with a lot of people, and we'll talk about that as we talk about baseball today. Appreciate you guys all who showed up so far. Go hit that retweet and hit that like button if you haven't. We don't ask for much as we give you gold fucking nuggets on this show. We tell you what we're looking at, how we break it down, and if we're going under or over. I'm telling you, if you ain't just playing our bets, that's fine. You're kind of dumb by now, though. But you should be learning something on this show. And that's one thing I get fucked off by a couple other cappers. They've actually messaged me and DM'd me like, you're saying too much. You're telling people to. Well, fuck you, bro. At the end of the day, fuck you.
I've gotten told that for the last 3 years about why are you giving that away? I'm like,
it still takes me an hour to do a lineup. It still takes me so if you have that much time in your day, go fucking do it. Bro, it takes time for what we do. If you've got the time, we'll show you and tell you how we do it. We don't hide nothing.
Nope.
This man gives a write-up every freaking thing on his shit to his people. I literally give you my write-up every day when I talk these pitchers. That's my write-up. I'm literally typed it out. So let's get into it. Guys, this show is sponsored by W. It's a clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by going to W.com, you're going to get 10% off your first order by using the best promo code on God's green earth. Pub Sports, that is. If you haven't already, do us a favor, smash that like button. Make sure you have them notification bells on, as well as subscribe if you're new. I will read out all the best bets at the end of the show. Please hashtag we be pubbing in it so I know which comments to scroll through. On the show, we will talk the first line opened up on a K-prop, also the best line available 30 minutes prior to this show. Then we will see where the value lies between the books and PrizePicks. Of course, this show is also sponsored by PrizePicks. So if you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS. You're going to get a match deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. First guy on the board, guys, is not really a guy, guys, because I just wanted to talk about the Pittsburgh and Marlins game, as I have action in this game. And we have Cabrera versus Quinn Priester. Cabrera was just announced. Priester was just announced a little earlier. Cabrera's K-prop is at a 5.5 minus 140 on FanDuel. Now, I want to play as over, as can he stay in the zone? The big question with Cabrera, guys, is his walks. He has been out of control at times, disgustingly out of control. So don't pay juice on Cabrera. You either take him up one as he has a day, or the fucker walks too many people, guys. If he gets 6, I believe he gets 7. He's just got to pound the zone, and that has been his problem. Now, on the other side, I am on the under first 5 for a 4.5 at a minus 120.5 unit, and I doubled up on the full game at 8.5 at a minus 110. I love me some Cabrera. Am I high on Priester? He's just a lesser version of Keller, in my opinion. He just doesn't have the fucking stripes yet, but the dude does have good fucking shit, guys, at the end of the day. He pounds the zone. He looks for ground balls, and yeah, we got a great Miami Marlins team. They're really good at making contact. Best teams in the world, right? Yeah, but they didn't get even to the airport last night at about 2 a.m. What time did they get into Pittsburgh, and what the fuck time did they go to sleep, guys? I've seen this story with my Dodgers. We played a Sunday night game that went extra innings and then had to play an afternoon game versus the same Pittsburgh team. And when I called Noli this morning, I was like, bro, we got a spot. We got to hammer it, bro. And he's like, bro, that was happened versus our Dodgers. I'm like, why you think it rang bells? This shit, bro. And you got to capitalize on these spots. And we've got a really tired Marlins team. At first, I had the first 5 only as betted. And then Noli's like, Sharpie, you know, if you're taking advantage of a spot, you've got to go full game. What? You don't like the bullpens? I hear you. But you are taking advantage of tired bats. Tired bats means you're taking the whole game, Sharpie. So I'm glad I have guys like Spin, guys like Noli that I can bounce shit off of and, get to the plays that should be bet. So I do have the first 5 under 4.5. I have the full game under 8.5. I expect some tired bats. And Cabrera, even though if he walks some, should be able to strike out the guys that he needs to get away from the big blow-up innings. And we'll also have a quick hook, as this is must-win territory for the Miami Marlins. You got anything on this game?
The strikeout prop for me, if you're looking at it metrically, I would lean on the under. Reason being is because Cabrera so far this season spends only 41.2% of his time in the zone. That's way under MLB average of 48.6. But the 41.2 is actually pretty close to what his career average is at 41.9. I talked about all season about how, despite the fact that they have their warts in a number of places, the one thing that these Pirates do is they are patient. Now, when they swing outside the zone, they don't make much contact. They're only at 51.1%, which is way under 56.8 MLB average. But they do have and have had for pretty much the duration of the year a swing rate outside the zone under average. Now, what I will tell you is up until about a week and a half ago, that was one of the best marks in baseball. They're still under average, but they're trending this way. And I've seen this before in the last weekend of the season, is that you have guys who are on a team in a position that the Pirates are, where yeah, you got your Sawinskis and your Brian Hayes and Connor Joes, who are probably going to, some of those guys are probably going to be on the roster next year. So they're just getting extra reps. But then you have the other guys in the lineup who are fighting for spots. And that's where you can see a team like Pittsburgh make a lot of contact, cash you a lot of unders, which they actually have over the last few weeks, because you have guys that are fighting for their roster spot, whether it be on the team or somewhere else. Now we're into the last weekend, and yeah, there might be some stuff left to decide, but you see a lot of these non-playoff teams just kind of go in and just say, fuck it, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun and go out there and play ball, kind of like we're doing in almost like a beer league. I saw it happen last season with my Twins, because they didn't make the playoffs. I've seen it in other seasons. So that's what's probably going to keep me off of this one, is that metrically the Pirates take way more than enough pitches in the zone to rack up Cabrera's pitch count, especially in a do or die situation. My problem here is that they've been going in the wrong direction since they started bringing some of these younger guys up. And with this being the last weekend, I never include capping motivation into my capping because I'm not in the locker room. I have no idea. I can only go off of past history. And what it says normally happens is right around the time of the last weekend, you do get these non-playoff teams that are just like, fuck it, let's just go play. Whatever happens, happens. Like,
Their vacation's already set.
Whatever happens, right? Yeah, like there's really nothing left to prove anymore. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get into your favorite guy on the board today. And, you get to talk first as always. So let's talk your team, Minnesota at the Rockies. And we're talking Joe Ryan, striking people out 29.5% of the time while walking people just 5% on the year. Morning line was 5.5 minus 110 on BetMGM, where you can now get plus money at FanDuel to that 5.5. And that is exactly where PrizePicks has him as well. Let's talk Joe Ryan.
Okay, so Twins playoff position is already set. They're going to be the 3 seed. They will play almost assuredly the Mariners or the Astros. Minnesota Twins have absolutely nothing to play for this season. The only reason why Joe Ryan is even pitching tonight is because he's our Game 3 starter. So this is what we call a maintenance start. And what a maintenance start means, it's the same thing Pablo Lopez has done, same thing Sonny Gray did. It's the same thing Corbin Burns did, Zach Wheeler. I could go on and on and on. But you're only pitching this guy so he can stay in rhythm. And what you're not going to do is you're not going to risk any injury at all. Most of these guys, these big power pitchers, are getting somewhere between 50 to 70 pitches. And that's what I would suspect that Ryan gets tonight. So if you're going to see the 5.5 line and think, ooh, Colorado, oh my God, they're horseshit at striking out, which they are. They swing like crazy, which they do. Think again, because there is no guarantee how long this guy's going to go. The big clue for you is that go look and see what the innings prop is for Joe Ryan. You won't find one because there isn't one. And the reason why they do that is for, two primary reasons. But the big one is because they don't want to get stuck with one-way action on the off chance that he happens to hit it. So if you're going to set a correct Joe Ryan innings prop tonight, you probably got to set it right around 5, because I highly doubt he's going more than that. Now, can he get 6 strikeouts in 5 innings against the Rockies? Well, of course he can, because the Rockies' swing metrics are just god-awful atrocious. Now, the thing you also got to remember, too, is if you go and look at how Sonny Gray pitched yesterday, and even Pablo the day before that, early on, they were throwing their regular stuff. And what happened? Well, Pablo had 5 Ks in 2. Sonny Gray had 4 Ks in 2. 3 Ks in 2. And then what happened after that? Well, then they started working on a bunch of other pitches or different pitch mixes. They were working on and honing shit for the playoffs. I watched it happen because I watched this team every single game. There is no guarantee that won't happen to Joe Ryan tonight. And when these guys start in a live game situation, start throwing mixes and different things that they're not comfortable with, yeah, they might get guys out, but even against a team as terrible as the Rockies, you're probably not looking at a ton of strikeouts. That being said, I don't want to do anything with a Colorado Rockies under, even given the situation. So this is probably one of the few where I might just be off. If I do bet this one, it's because I have an in as to how many pitches Ryan is actually going to throw. I haven't been able to find that, like an exact number yet. And then I will run the capping based off of that. But if you think that, and because I see it all over Twitter right before we came on the air, Sharpie, I did a search and I'm like, how titty capper is this? And of course it is, because Joe Ryan hits this 64.3% of the time and he's averaging this many Ks. Please don't fall into those traps, guys. There's a reason why he's only at a 5.5. It's because he ain't going any longer than 5 innings and he might not even get that.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, just showing up, me and the Spin Doc don't talk to each other days before, so I just literally had to cut out half of my write-up because he said all that shit for me. And at the end of the day, why do I gotta repeat that shit? So I just like hit the return and spaced it out. Like, why do I gotta say everything about that, guys? The outs prop thing is definitely something you got to take into your regular capping as well, guys. And I jumped on Jimmy the Bag Show all the time and let him know there's no outs prop. No outs prop. You don't want to be taking money lines when they're saying that your starting pitcher ain't going to go deep, bro. If you want to back these guys, look at them first 3, because you can guarantee they'll be out there 3 innings. Now, what Spin just brought up, because he watches that team, is death-defying. If they're really working on pitches and like literally working shit out, dude, and trying to work on, okay, well, what are we going to do if I'm in this situation? Or let's get a runner on second so I have to sweat something out. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. And this is the one spot, though, where I would tell you not to go under on. Where all the other ones where I was like, Wheeler can hit this. Burns, they put Burns at his original 6.5, which was, why didn't I fucking drop the fucking hammer on that under? I was like, I don't think he gets this if he went 100. I said it on the show.
Nope.
Did he go 100? No. Didn't even fucking go close. And I made so many notes last year, bro, that I have to make a big warning sign to capitalize on the last week. These books just don't know how to line, guys. Now, if there was a guy to hit his K-prop, like I said, Wheeler could hit it in that allotment if they would allow him to go 5. And you know what? If they would have allowed him to go 5, they would have. But he didn't go 5. He's going to win 4. And I watched it just to make sure. I was like, what are these books? You know, how long is he going? It's been 4 innings cap on a lot of these pitchers. So I have a role already in place for me, guys. And that's not betting guys in their first ever career start in the Rockies, as the thin air just plays tricks on a pitcher's pitch mix. And it saved me more money than I could have ever won on betting a pitcher that's fallen apart in Colorado. And sliders don't slide and curves tend to hang a little bit more than normal. If you want to back a pitcher, look for fastball changeup, look for a splitter. And I believe Joe Ryan throws a splitter, don't he?
Sure does. It's actually that is actually his main strikeout pitch to lefties.
Those are pitches that play real well in the thin air, as well as we got a team who whiffs and chase like the Rockies. If there was a pitcher who hit 6 strikeouts in 4 innings today, it would be Joe Ryan, but I have rules, and they're not even giving me his outs, where I sure as fuck ain't betting a guy on a fucking a pitch limit. That's just sure one. So it's either under or nothing, but this is that one time where I tell you to be careful if you're trying to bet it under. I could see him actually getting 6 and 4. Am I going to bet it? No, I've never seen what he does there, but he has the shit that plays there, and he's got the team to do it again. So I'm not stepping in front of that.
Even though we're not talking about him, if you're looking for a pitcher to take a small shot on an under who is in the same situation that Joe Ryan, or similar type of spot, but in a much better situation, that for a potential under to play that angle, look Lance Lynn against the Giants tonight, because he's in the exact same spot.
Yeah, we talked that out through the show. You asked me about, hey, how long does Lance Lynn go to? And I was like, fuck, bro, he's our fucking innings eater. I believe they just let him go out there and work. He ain't gonna be at our playoffs then in our playoff rotation. He goes, who's your rotation? And I started saying it. I got to my 3rd rotation spot, and I was like, oh fuck.
He is
Lance Lynn. He's
my
3rd starter now that we've got a woman beater. And so Lance Lynn ain't going more than 4 today, bro, at the end of the day. And they got that juice to over at a -180. And there are some books out there, guys, that do allow you to take it up 1 to the under. Man, that would be a wonderful spot to bet a -180, 5.5, bro, under, and just unload. Well,
and Sharpie, you mentioned it. Lynn's only going to go 4, and I think you're right. The reason why Lynn would go less than Joe Ryan is if you look at the average number of pitches per inning that they throw, or even the average number of pitches per hitter that they throw. Lance Lynn throws a lot more average pitches. He actually throws almost 3 more pitches per inning. He actually throws almost like 1.5 more pitches per at bat. That would be why, because remember, these guys are on a pitch count, not an innings count. So it's, hey, as soon as you get in the 60 to 75 range, you can finish the inning you're on, or if you can't off of that batter, you're out. And that's just the way it is. You saw it with Pablo. He pitched 4 1/3 innings of just brilliant baseball. Had the A's couldn't touch him, and they pulled him because they have bigger fish to fry. Sonny Gray got pulled after 4 innings yesterday for Maeda because they want these guys to get some real in-game work on some shit, and get off the stage without injury. That's the goal tonight for Joe Ryan. That's the goal tonight for Lance Lynn. That was the goal yesterday for Corbin Burns, so on and so forth. Happens every year.
And expect those guys sometimes to go to the bullpen and finish off their fucking normal routine, guys. Like, at the end of the day, they don't care about these guys getting hurt. They just need them to get their reps, bro. That's it. That's all. So careful betting overs on Lance Lynn today and Joe Ryan. Yet I wouldn't go under on Joe Ryan, but I'm not going over.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And for anybody that from VIP that's listening, we're not doing it tonight either. So just so you know,
don't bother
so you know,
me, huh?
It's not happening.
We got 70 live, 34 likes, guys. Do us a favor. You got 2 guys hitting over 70% in their last 100 bets, not plays, bets. I know the man next to me doesn't put nothing less than $100 on
Correct.
his. Sometimes I put a goddamn house payment on mine. So I tell you guys when we do it. We tell you when we're betting stuff. Least you can do for us is smash the like. Is we also got us a special edition later on of Ribeyes with Mike, because it is the last Balking Dead. Couldn't leave y'all hanging. Had to bring in the best hitting prop segment in all the land. But before that, let's talk Carlos Rodon in his last start. Striking people out 23% of the time while walking people 9.5%. Morning line was 5.5, -145 on BetMGM, where he is now at a -135 on BetMGM. PrizePicks has him at a 5.5. What you got on Carlos?
All right. So for all that talk that we had for about a month and a half or so about the Royals and how they've really, they brought some of the young guys up and they've really cleaned up their swing metrics, et cetera, et cetera. The swing metrics still look fine. What doesn't look good is that, look at that now, after we are a little bit in to pitchers seeing these guys, and these young guys who maybe aren't quite ready for the MLB yet, but are getting some reps now. You see what happens to their Ks as pitchers learn about their tendencies. Like that. Royals were actually down in the low 20s for strikeout percentage against lefties about a month and a half ago. If you went by a rolling 30-day period, they're at 27.3 now, and they were at almost a 10% walk percentage. They're at 7.5 now. Neither one of those numbers obviously are very good. When you look at Rodon, he does. I mean, yes, he doesn't face many of them, but there's obviously some left and right splits here. 38.5% versus 26.9 from the right side. Rodon is kind of like the anti-Tarik Skubal. We talked about this Skubal on this show about how he gets lefties out, but his strikeout percentage against lefties, Tarik Skubal, is like under 10. Rodon's the opposite. Rodon does decent against righties and just absolutely smokes lefties. But if I'm looking at this one, I also look at Rodon only has a 30% or 31% hit rate to this since coming back from injury. And so that would lead me to believe with the Royals strikeout percentage that and with some of the steam that the Royals been actually getting from the public, that they might be trying to lead you. They might be trying to lead you to an under here. Over is the only way I'm looking in this game, especially because Rodon's innings prop is up around the 5.5 to 6 mark, which is 11% above normal. his hits prop and his walks prop is actually down, which is really, really good, because if you go back and look at the number of starts that he's only walked one or less, which is actually what he's projected to do today, in those same games, and then you go and look at how often he's hit six Ks. I mean, you look at against Pittsburgh, no walks, 10 Ks. You look at against Tampa Bay, 2 walks, only 7 Ks. You go and you look at Colorado, 2 walks, 6 Ks, so on and so forth. So if he's only projected to walk 1, I am looking strongly at the over here.
Man, I might be able to twist your hand and tell you, I think we need to go under, bro.
All right, go ahead.
Fuck. Let me type in one more name. They changed the bottom 2 batters in this lineup because this lineup is now out. And they did put one lefty in at the bottom, and he is striking out. But how many times does he see Isabel? 2 times at most?
Probably.
Okay.
He is projected right now, my weighted average for plate appearances. He averages 21.38 based on innings prop. Factored in, books say 23.77, weighted average 22.5. So 22.5 plate appearances. So he'll go through the whole lineup twice, and then top 4 for a third time projected.
Okay, so the bottom 2 pretty much matched up with what the original bottom 2 were in their original when I ran the lineups, because of course I had to do this lineup, man. So let's talk about Rodon in a spot there. At first, I just, like my boy was talking about right here, I wanted to drop the fucking hammer on today, guys. Yet, how long does he go? And that's been the question with all these guys not in playoff races. These guys just haven't been going their full allotment, period. Well, one thing the Yankees have done over the last week, guys, is let their starters go as long as they can handle it. They get hit, he takes them out. If they're humming, he lets them go. One thing I've learned on betting Yankees pitchers is Boone has fucked me more often than not, pulling a pitcher because he thinks he knows how to coach a game. He's not coaching these games anymore, guys. He knows he's being fired. He's just letting these guys pitch. If they get hit, all right, I got to take you out. If you don't get hit, go back out there. He's not trying to actually think, pull in bullpen pieces to win games. It's like the best thing you can ask for betting for K-Prop with Aaron Boone, guys, because he's a cuck. He's a terrible manager. I bet him to get fired last year. I guess I was a year too fucking early. Still, probably can't get +1. I think I played +270 last year. I got +270. I was like, he's gone. They gotta can him. Nope. A year too late, bro. But I seen it. They need to pay me to be the general manager, bro. I could tell you who to fire. I could tell you who to hire. Now, what I can tell you guys is what he said overall. Like, they're striking out 27% of their at bats over the last 200 plate appearances, which dates back over a month. Well, I've talked about it over and over and over again, guys. These overall numbers aren't always what we see in the lineup. And in this lineup, we only have 3 guys striking out at a 24% clip or higher over the last 200 plate appearances. And we've got 6 guys crushing the dog piss out of lefties. And we've got 3 guys that are walking elite. So those are towards the back end. So at the end of the day, they put this man's earned runs at first at a 3.5. It got bet down to a 2.5, super juice to the over. Every time I see this, says he's going to get the dog piss kicked out of him, guys. He's giving up 3 runs. And that's what that tells me. Now, if you're giving up 3 runs, you're getting hit. And I've got this many guys in the lineup that aren't striking out the lefties. The only one is Witt and the bottom 2. I might fucking fuck around and find out and take this under. Let this shit get bet up one more, please. Please. I love Carlos Rodon. I'll be the first one to tell you that his strikeouts were down and he wasn't Rodon until the Rays game. I seen some nasty shit in the Rays game and I was like, okay, Rodon is back. I get his strikeouts being down. I'm not paying -145 for an over. That is fraudulent, guys. 27% strikeout rate is not the fucking percent that you're going to see in this lineup. So careful if you're on the over today, as I will be looking to go under if I can get 6.5, bro. They're telling me he's getting cracked, bro. I know you can hit strikeouts while getting cracked. And I know Scooble slayed these bitches. But this ain't that lineup. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just a lean for me right now. It's one of those ones where like I kind of leave it on my card and don't cross it off, and I'm like, I kind of like it. I kind of don't.
When they put the runs at 3.5 and it's super juiced to 2.5, what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah,
He's giving it up, bro. So if he starts to get hit early,
but it's weird though.
bye-bye.
Because his hits are lower though. His hits are lower.
So he's not giving up no hits.
5. Well, it wasn't 5. It's now at 5.5, but still, it's a little bit lower. So I guess it's not too big of a variance.
So they're saying when he gets hit, he's just going to give up home runs. So that's still good to the over. If
Yeah.
it's solo shots and he's not walking people.
Yep.
So I guess I'll just probably have to just leave him alone then at the end of the day. I've got other action, I got other action.
Yep.
But, is what it is. Life's a bitch and you marry one. I got action on this guy. I got action on Zach Gallen versus the Astros. The next 3 guys we're going to talk about are all in must-win spots. We're talking about 2 teams that are facing each other. Yeah, they may not be in the same division in this game, but they both got to win right now. And we're talking Zach Gallen versus the Astros, striking people out 26% of the time. Well, just walking people 5.5% on the year. Morning line is 4.5 minus 124 on FanDuel, where you can get a minus 120, or on FanDuel, where you can now get a 4.5 minus 125 on Caesars. PrizePicks has them at a 4.5. Let's talk. Zach Gallen versus the Astros.
All right. Here's the one stat that would, to me, told me what I need to know is that since July, Gallen has had 16 starts and has hit, minus 145, which is what it was not too long before we came on, for over 4.5 wasn't horrible. It's especially at home, it's bettable juice. Now, when all those things come into play and there's an 85.7% hit rate, which, as we know, the titty cappers love to use, you know what to do. This is an Astros team that is at 17.7% for the last 30 days against righties. They have one of the largest, or one of the best gaps in walk to strikeouts over that same period of time, under 10%, meaning that 17.7% K percentage, 8.1% walk percentage. That's only a 9.6% gap. That is the best of any team playing today. You already talked about the must-win situation. Gallen actually does have a surprising number of plate appearances against this team, 60 against the projected lineup. Strikeout percentage just barely 25. And, to me, looking at the way this one is lined, if they're going to line Gallen like this with normal props in a do-or-die situation for a line that he's hit 86% of the time since July, and you want me to pay juice on that? Like I said, y'all know what to do by now.
See, this is where one of the few times on this show you will see me and Spin on the exact opposite sides of
you're paying up for it, huh?
I got minus 125, and I understand the line, and I've got a full unit on Zach Gallen over 4.5 today, minus 125. Here and why. Now we get a game, guys, like the next one we're going to talk about, a game that actually means something to both of these teams. And the D-backs have the guy they want on the mound. And the Astros have a kid who has gone way past his innings pitched in a year, and it actually shows up when you look at it. In his last 6 games, he's only gone 6 innings, one of them, after going 6 innings in 13 of his first 18 games after letting JP France go. Now we have a super low number if we want in on Gallen's K-prop. And I get it. It's the Astros. We know they're elite when it comes to not striking out, while also being top 5 in isolated power. Now, the line makes sense, even though he has never been a 4.5. As I've seen minus 150 on a 70% win rate 100 million times in my life. Yet, he has a 60% win rate and opened up at a minus 145. So the books favored it towards him. And that's the way I read the line being put. Now, it's hard for me to take in the overall numbers, guys, as this is a playoff type game. This is how I capped the Castillo game. I threw away the Astros numbers, guys. At the end of the day, this is not the regular season. And when Zach Gallen has faced a team that fall under the same type of category that we're going to look at today with these Astros, they fall under top 10 zone contact, top 10 chase contact. He's seen 4 teams this year. The Marlins 2 times, he hit 7 in both games. He's seen the Blue Jays where he had 5 and 5, and the Guardians where he had 7 and 7. Now, if we look at the teams who just fall under the chase contact, guys, he's had 6 and 11 versus the Rangers, as he only did have 4 versus the Mets. Now, if we just look at the teams that make contact in the zone, but don't fall under chase contact, he had 6 versus the Braves, 9 versus the Cubs. How about 8 in 6.1 innings versus the Cardinals? Where he didn't hit it was versus the Orioles, where he only went 5.1 innings and had 4 strikeouts. If Zach Allen has shown me anything, he averages a strikeout per inning when everything fucking says not to. I got him going 6. I got him getting 6. I'm on the over 4.5 for a full unit at -125.
All right.
That's my breakdown.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Next one up on the board, Nathan Eovaldi at Mariners, number 41 on the black book, striking people out 21.5% of the time while walking people 6% on the year. Morning line was 4.5 -145, where that's exactly the same line on BetMGM. PrizePicks has them at a 5, and why? Why they got to do this shit, Spin?
Yuck, yuck, yuck. Get me the fuck away from this line. I mean, by this point, you should all obviously know the drill with the Mariners. It's been the case for the entire season. The middle of their lineup just swings like crazy. They whiff like crazy. They have very, very few guys that are high contact, like making it a point to make contact guys. And the results show last 30 days, 26% K percentage against righties, lifetime against Eovaldi and 85 plate appearances, 35.3% K percentage. Look, the reason why I want no part of this one is, well, 1, the line, but 2 is no innings prop again. So you have no semblance for how long Eovaldi's going to go. If you go by past history, you're probably going to get anywhere from 3 to 5 innings, maybe. His earned run hits and walks are 2.42. That would indicate probably a start of about the same length. You're probably not going to get any more than 5 here. So without knowing how long Eovaldi's going to go, in a do or die situation, I would expect the bullpen to be readily available. So as badly as I want to just smash the living shit out of the over here, I don't think I can, because he could literally get yanked at any time.
And what I did learn from the last game that he pitched, and I mean, I've been in every Seattle game, it seems like, the last 3 days, because I love betting these games that mean something right now. And I learned that they've been piggybacking their starters with starters because they're so ass in the bullpen. And they've used Martin Perez on the days that Eovaldi pitches.
Yep.
Last time Eovaldi did the major work, it seems to be telling me that he may be going the 4 or 5 innings, and then he's going to come in for the major work today. So that's where I may be thinking is the overall game plan. But here's my write-up. We have 4 spots in the last 30 days or so, guys, when the books have fucked with a back-to-back number. With Gilbert being the last one, it is now 4-0 to the under. And I'm thinking, guys, if it's a duck and it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck, guys. Like, fuck, at the end of the day, we look for trends. And when they fuck with somebody's number, he's gone under at 100% clip now with at least 4 spots in the last 30 days. So, I cannot bet this K prop over, even though I fucking want to do. It's the freaking Mariners, and they're chasing whiff. And damn, do you just see how electric that place is? You get more strikeouts when it's more tense, guys. It just is what it is. And I do expect a few of these spots to be rocking, guys. It's must-win territory.
Yep.
So let's get into it, guys. Why the fuck did they drop him to a 4.5 after cashing his 5.5 last week? They didn't do it to the next guy we're going to talk about in Woo. He had the same thing, same number, cashed it, and they gave him the same number today. They don't do shit like this, guys. They don't give out free money. Be very careful, guys. If the titty capper play of the day was on anything, it would be right here on Nathan Eovaldi's over. It's so easy. This guy to get 5 versus this team? Oh, my God. Then he just got 6. He didn't have more than his average. I could play him. Why the fuck they drop him then? Because he's got man titties is why they dropped him, guys. They know something, guys. These books aren't fucking dumb. They are billionaires for a reason. Now, I did back this guy. Now, I did get a bet in this game. But my bet's going to come out when we talk about the next game. As when I looked into how Eovaldi pitched on a back-to-back, I did not go to last year. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. I had 2 pitchers circled for comeback years. Freddie Peralta, Nathan Eovaldi. They were both fucking hurt last year. They just weren't that dude. They weren't the guy that I always bet on. And they were both healthy and talked about it at the beginning of the year. So I knew we'd get value betting them early on in the season. The value's fucking gone, guys. They're not giving you a 4.5 on Eovaldi for shits and giggles, okay? Nope. So I'm not looking at the back-to-backs last year, guys, because he wasn't Nathan Eovaldi. So I go back 2 years, he had 2 back-to-backs. He got hit in the first one, followed it back up with a quality start. He had a quality start in the next one, followed it back up with another quality start. He had 1 back-to-back this year versus the Kansas City Royals. He got the dog piss kicked out of him. 10 hits, 5 earned runs. Followed it back up with a quality start. So, when I talk about the fate of Woo, I will then give you my bet in this game. Let's talk about the fate of Woo. Ryan Woo, that is, versus the Rangers. 24.5% strikeout clip with a 5% walk rate on the year. Morning line was 5.5 minus 122, and now you can get minus 112 on FanDuel. PrizePicks has them at a 5.5. Let's talk the last guy on the board.
All right. So Brian Woo, as you mentioned, do or die situation. So you're going to get a full complement from a start. Woo right now, his innings proper at is right at 5 or a little over is all the longer that he goes. Obviously he struck out a bunch last time, but just absolutely got cracked. And the fact that they didn't do anything to this line, they basically lined him right around where he has been for home starts, because the guy averages 5 a game, and now you're giving him a 5.5 here. This is one where if I am going to look at this, under is probably the only place that I'm going to look, just because it is a back-to-back situation. It's also the first time that this kid has ever been in this spot before. I mean, he literally has the whole team on his back. And he's literally pitching for their season tonight. And so when you have a team like the Rangers that has a lot of veterans on it and are experienced at the plate, don't have a high K percentage to begin with, to me, under, I think, is probably about the only way that you can look here. Now, the one thing that I would not look at, for just my personal opinion here, is his earned runs, hits, and walks are all lower than what you would normally expect. They're 2, 4, and 1. And that's even at projected to go 5 innings. So I'm not necessarily sure that I would be jumping at a chance to take all kinds of Rangers first 5 props. I'm not against them, but if you're looking for strikeout action on this one, to me, especially with the juice, under is about the only way you can look.
Yeah, well, I've got the one that you said you weren't against it, but let's talk about it. Now we have a back-to-back for Woo, guys, as well in his last week. He just got another can of whoop-ass opened up on him as he went only 3.1 innings, gave up 6 runs, but had 6 punch-outs. When the number was 5.5 last week. Hey, and look what we got here, another 5.5. No funky shit there, guys. So they didn't fuck with Woo's numbers. So if you want to get in on the over, that's up to you. They did with Eovaldi, and you can't fuck around with that guy now if you want his over. So, yeah, funny how the books have the same thing going on in the same game, back-to-backs, but yet they fuck with one line and not the other.
Yep.
Weird. I think they know something. As guys, I wasn't looking to back Woo strikeouts today, period, guys. I wanted to fade him. As his other start versus the Rangers this year, he also ended up with him getting taken to the woodshed. Granted, it was his first ever career start in the big leagues. He still got murdered, giving up 6 runs in just 2 innings of work. And this is his first ever back-to-back in the bigs, like my guy Spin was saying, versus the team who's had his number. And when we look at Woo's pitch mix, guys, he throws a 4-seam fastball and a sinker, a total of a 75%. They're both pretty much the same speed, guys. And if you're throwing a form of a fastball 75% of the time versus this team, they will show you what they can fucking do to you. And they have shown him 2 times. Now, to go what my guy was saying is they have his earned runs down and they have his outs super juiced to the over. And I don't think he goes over 5 innings. And they showed it with Miller. If you get to him one of the 2 times at the top of the lineup, they will not let you go third time. This coach is in must-win territory. I've seen it. I've learned it. I've been betting on this Mariners coach for years now. This has been a team in these spots at the end of the year now for a couple years, and he's not going to let him see the lineup third time through.
Nope.
Period.
Nope.
So can he get 6 strikeouts 2 times through the order? That's going to be, does he show up with a whole different, not throwing his fastball 75% of the fucking time? So,
and I'm not sure that he can do that, because if you go back and look at his starts, go back and look at any of his starts where he threw a fastball even less than like a fastball sinker combo, even less than like 60%. It's almost never, because that's just not what he does.
At the end of the day, I think they get him. Do they get him for more than 3? I don't know, because I don't think he sees the top of the lineup 3 times. And you can have a bad inning, 2 runs, 3 runs, and then settle on in. Now, if he has a bad inning, gives up 2 runs, and it's early, that pin is getting up, dude. Like, at the end of the day, they're not going to let him to get the 3 runs. They can't allow this man to get to 3 earned runs today. They fucking can't. And that's the reason why I think he does get hit. I think they got to go to their pin early, and you get weaker arms. I expect Eovaldi to show me what he's done on back-to-backs, especially on back-to-backs where he got hit. He shows the fuck up in deals again. He's a 5-pitch pitcher. He can pitch on a back-to-back. No problem. So I do have Rangers first 5, -103. And on Jimmy's show, I loved it when I heard like 80% of the money was on the Mariners, and they were dropping the line to the Rangers. I was like, and then I also heard that all the money was a half a run. So I really think the Texas Rangers shoved today, bro, till they have to go to their bullpen. So I like the Rangers first 5, first 7. I don't want to get to their bullpen, even if they bring in old Martin Perez, guys. He's actually done all right sometimes versus Seattle. So sometimes. So, lefties have been doing their job. Look what Montgomery and Heaney did yesterday.
Yep.
That's the way to get to this team, lefties. And that's why I believe they have Giolito strikeouts down. Giolito may only go 3 today. 1 time through the lineup, go to Martin. Now, if he hums through it, how does the coach yank him when he knows his bullpen's bad?
Yep.
So this, if 4.5, bro, I don't know how he doesn't get it. But I can't bet it because it's got a full set of man titties on it, and the books fucked with him. And when the books fuck with him, that's even more of a reason.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we've got over 115 live, pulling our biggest number on the last show of the year. The bets that I do have in is I have the first 5 Rangers for a half a unit at -103 on the money line. I have a full unit on Zach Gallen over 4.5 strikeouts at -125. And then I doubled up in the Pirates Marlins game. First 5 under 4.5 for a half unit, as well as a half unit on the full game under 8.5. If you want those breakdowns, go check them out. If you haven't smashed the like, smash the like. And before we get into hitting props, bro, I can't thank you enough, Spin Doctor. You know I love you. No homo. You're like one of my good close friends that I talk to on a daily basis. Even though we only talk sports, that's all I talk with my kids. So I guess you're a family to me, bro. So thank you for coming on every fucking week. Yep. You come on for free. If people don't know, this guy's never made $1. He comes on and does this shit for free out of his own fucking heart. Out of every fucking play he gives out for free, and he's hit at an over 62% rate on his free plays given out on Twitter, he puts $100 of his own fucking money on it. They're not plays. They're fucking bets. And I respect you, bro. And thank you so much for making my show better.
Likewise. Thank you, guys. Thank you to Big Show. Thank you to Pub Sports. Thank you to Slaughter. Thank you to you, Sharpie. We'll still be doing this throughout the playoffs. Don't worry about that. We are raping and pillaging until the final out of the season. I can promise you that. But If you want to find me at Spin Doc Sports, I will have a public play or two a little bit later today. But yeah, thank you, Sharpie. And it's been a pleasure. Love talking K-props. And hey, one more time, let's fuck him in the eye hole. Let's do it.
More time.
All right.
I didn't want salmon. I said it 4 times. Wedding is horseshit.
Well, now we get to the point of the show, guys, where like 15 people jumped out because they thought the show was over. Nah. It's the last Balking Dead of the mother trucking year, fella. And what does that mean? That means I got to have the most profitable hitting segment on my show one more fucking time. Mike, the last Megalodon living, how you doing, my guy?
Sugar Sharpie, what's up, my brother? We are at the tail end of this Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
We got more to come, but man, you gave me the call. You said, can you come in here and give a little guest spot for this last show? Of course I will. But man, what a tough card. I thought it was tough going on that 3-carder there that we had, or the 3-gamer that we had. This, even though there's 15, 16 games on the schedule, even more difficult than trying to pick those 3. So I'm excited though. I think I've got a 4-spot today. And then I'll throw a bonus spot out there if you guys want to kind of get something that's really a moonshot. So let's dive in, my guy. Let's go.
Let's go. Start it off. What you want
got
first?
it, man. So I'm looking at Guardians and Tigers game here. And, difficult spot with the wind. It looks like it's slightly in there at Comerica. But in terms of offense, I heard that this is a offensively driven or expected ballpark today. So I think it was number 2 on the list overall. So that being said, I looked down the Cleveland Guardians side of the lineup. You guys know I like Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is hitting 167 against the left-handed pitcher Joey Wentz. Can't go there, and he's in the 2-hole. That kind of scares me off. But I'll take a look at Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill's 3-7 this year. He's got a 5.13 ERA. And, my eyes kind of pop when I refresh this thing because I had it up this morning and I pulled out some numbers and I saw a spot that changed my mind and actually strengthened my original position. So my ribeye play of the day, the one that I like the most, is Kerry Carpenter to get the job done for us. The ribeye play of the day, Kerry Carpenter. He's got 5 at-bats against Cal Quantrill. And I'm going to say he's got 1 hit and 1 RBI. Does he have a ton of success? He doesn't. But here's the kind of script that I'm thinking about with this game. I was looking at Miggy, and Miggy was down in the 5 spot and even the 6 spot, depending on where you looked from the projected lineup. They moved Miggy to the 3 spot. So what I like about Miggy is he's hitting 583. Miggy opened up at a 200 RBI number plus 200. He's dropped to 190. So I think that just reflects him going from the 5 to the 3, meaning he's got that potential in the 9th inning to get that extra at bat. It's a home team situation. So if Detroit goes up, it's going to be suspect. But the reason I had to jump on Kerry Carpenter is he's priced at plus 165. He's a lefty. Cal Quantrill's had some challenges against left-handeds from time to time, but at this point of the season, I just think we've maxed out the benefit of Cal Quantrill. So Kerry Carpenter in the boo-boo position in the 4 slot at plus 165 kicks off the card.
Man, if you don't know about Kerry Carpenter, that's Big Show's favorite guy, man. At the end of the day.
Well, I was just thinking about a Sharpie. If you're looking for Miggy to be in front of you, that's a hard RBI to push around these days, bro.
I think Mickey gets on base, and I figured the kind of script of the game being that I don't know how many more games we're going to see out of this guy. So
you need Miggy to get a triple.
Yeah, well, I need Mickey to get his buns over to first or second base, and then I think Kerry Carpenter has the opportunity to go yardstick here. But I feel like it's that celebration tour for Mickey. They're going to want to spotlight him. I think that's kind of key as to why they moved him into the 3 spot here. And
bring out the juice balls, bro. I've been preaching juice balls all year on a Sunday. If you ain't noticed, there's been a lot of overs and home runs on Sundays. All the kids are at the show, at the fucking game. Yay! I got a ball.
Look at the 2 spot too. You got Spencer Torkelson. Nobody gets on base more than that guy. It seems like he's just been an on base. I mean, I guess there's a lot of guys in the lineup that do, but Torkelson's been a very productive and profitable guy as well. So Torque and Miggy in front of Carpenter in that 4 spot just makes a lot of sense to me.
Before we talk the next guy, I wanted to touch on too about these juice ball shit, bro. Is it weird how these teams need to win are getting the leads in these 9th and 8th innings? Marlins last night, Mariners last night. The Diamondbacks came back 3 different times versus the Yankees. They seemed like they were just forcing and they kept blowing it. It's just fucking weird, man.
That Mets game was fucked, dude. That situation, the money was all over my.
Oh, they refunded all my live bets, bro, and I had Marlins, bro. I was pissed.
They did, but those should have been payouts. I could appreciate. Technically, I guess the rules say it was a loss, and a couple of them got graded late last night as losses. This morning, I got them refunded on everything but my local, so I was happy with that. But nonetheless, that was a situation where it just was like the bookies' ideal. So they can refund the bet and not have to pay out all that cash they would have had to pay out if Miami ended up.
They did pay me out for the over 1.5 live I took, but they didn't give me the Marlins or anything. So I was like, hey, they did pay me, sweet.
My totals got paid out, so I was happy with that. But
yeah, mine did too. My live total did. I was like, don't fuck me on that
shit situation. But
I already cashed. Usually they cash you right out after they get that run.
I know.
They had 3 up there, and we're holding my ticket for 1.5. I was like, give me it.
The other thing I think, too, is the fans are going to be a little more jacked up today after that big win last night. Big show. Big job, man. Big job.
Big Lions.
I always believe in the hot city factor. You don't want to be the team that comes in there and lets the city down after things are starting to hum, and they're certainly starting to hum for those Detroit Lions. So that's my little football interjection there as we transition to the next game. But I'm looking at the Padres-White Sox. Difficult situation. If I take a step back, we've got teams that have already clinched. You guys know who they are. The teams that are almost there are the Rangers, Arizona, and Toronto. In good shape teams, they're 50% odds, 50 to 90% odds are Houston Astros and the Miami Marlins. I don't want to touch that Marlins game for the reasons that Sharpie talked about earlier today. This guy's traveled. Did they sleep? Did they sleep on the plane? Did they take up? I don't know how they got there. And then there's some teams that are in the mix in the Mariners and the Cubs. That's a team that qualifies with a 10 to 49% likelihood of making the playoffs. Well, I don't like the Cubs spot. I could pick some guys on the team, but they don't have a lot of experience against the hitters. I'm looking at that Marlins game. We scratched that one off the list. That doesn't leave us with a big list of games to go, but I'm going to kind of deviate from what's relevant here in terms of playoff opportunity, which I think is most important as we look at this time of the season and trying to find these guys that are playing for something. And as far as playing for something, I think, San Diego side of things is Fernando Tatis. He's in the 2 spot, which, I'm not a big fan of. He's got Bogarts in front of him, though, who's got 8 at-bats, 3 hits. He's found pretty good success against Dylan Cease, and I do feel like this is a game where Dylan Cease gets a little bit exposed. So, there's been a little bit of, I think, opportunity here that's been left on the doorstep for San Diego that they weren't able to capitalize on. This week we've cashed on a Juan Soto spot, a Manny Machado spot. I'm going to round this card out with Fernando Tatis, and Fernando Tatis is priced at plus 165 as well. So just felt like, here's a guy that's got no success against Dylan Cease. He's in the top of the order. I think he wants that O to go, and I think he's playing for his contract extensions or his contract bonuses. So just kind of a suspicion I had from a Fernando Tatis perspective. San Diego does not want to they don't want to lose out the season, right? They got to try to create some momentum, at least get their value up. So when they go into negotiations for TV contracts, apparel deals, and potential trade factors, they've got more going for themselves at the end of the year. It's kind of that slop time factor. And I think Fernando Tatis is in a good slop time factor at plus 165.
Yeah, man. You're about to be no longer the last Megalodon living if you're now the Padre Whisperer too, bro. You can't have 500 fucking names. If you're going to pick 3 different Padres guys in a week that all hit, bro, my God, bro, I'm going to get you a friar costume, bro. You wear that fucking shit like you some monk or something, bro.
Dude, that's been, that one game we only had 1 run and it was in the first inning, and I think that was Manny.
It was Machado, bro, right in the first. Wow.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it works.
Next one up.
Next one, we keep it rolling. We'll kind of keep it short and sweet for you guys as I move down the card. I got to look at this Houston Astros Diamondbacks game. This game probably has the first, if not the second most significance in games that are being played tonight. And to me, that means the players are stepping up and they're ready to play. And you're going to get those big-time guys making big-time plays in these spots. I understand the roof's going to be cracked open. The total went from 9 to 9.5. It's all about hitting conditions, juice balls, the whole likes of it here. And, I do like Zach Gallen. I was talking earlier today about some Zach Gallen opportunities here. The Arizona first 5 -1/2 is a spot that I do like a lot. In fact, it's the pimp slap play of the day. But you guys know I'm a sucker for Kyle Tucker. I'm going to finish my year out. I'm not going to leave this guy on the doorstep here. He's been nothing but a moneymaker for me. And, oh, by the way, he's in the old sweet spot, plus 145 for Kyle Tucker here. He's got 10 at-bats. He's hit 3 times and 2 RBIs. He's got Bregman and Altuve in front of him. Zach Gallen clearly is the spot that I feel is strong for him today. I'm not trying to go on both sides of it, but I do think if one team catches an early enough lead in a game, I expect offense to be generated from, that they might shorten that count up as well. So it's a huge game, though. I think this is as good as it's going to get in terms of regular season until we talk about the next game I want to focus on as well.
I mean, I'm already on Gallen strikeout props, and that doesn't correlate with getting hit. So do I think he's going to be perfect? No, not at all. But what I do think, though, is I got really high and I forgot what I thought. But I was going to say something and I thought it was important. Maybe I'll remember it. Maybe I won't. Who fucking cares? Because I'm not here to talk hitting props. But yeah.
Let's roll out to the 4-pack here, the 4-pack special, and I'll leave you guys with a little sprinkle if you guys want to really take a moonshot. So, I went over to this Texas Rangers Seattle's game. This is the other game that I feel is the most significant game on the card today as well. I know Sugar Sharpie's got his spots there, and I like those a lot. I like those spots quite a bit. The thing for me with this game, clearly this is one of those teams that's almost there, right? And they're both, I should say, the Rangers are almost there, Arizona's almost there, and Houston's in good shape. So again, this kind of triangle of, West Coast opportunity on some later spots tonight are going to be a lot of fun to tune into as we're kind of looking at that last college football game. So for me, I'm looking up and down these sides, and man, there's a lot of strengths on, I think, both sides of the ball here. You could argue, obviously, Julio Rodriguez, J-Rod's been getting it done. Cal Raleigh's a guy that's been successful, and they got Hernandez in the 4 spot. I like that a lot, and I like Hernandez price at plus 155. But I had to go to the other side of the equation here, because specifically the success rate or lack thereof for Seattle against Eovaldi is kind of what stood out to me. And Eovaldi's having a pretty solid year at 12-4, 127 Ks. He's got a 3.26 ERA. Crawford's a 182. Julio Rodriguez is a 111. Cal Raleigh's at 222, and then there's Hernandez at 357. So that concerns me about the top of the order being able to get on base. But you go over and you look at the Texas side of the ball. Holy smokes, you got Simeon's at a 750, Seager's at a 750, Lowe's at a 333, Garcia's at a 333, Imes at a 333, Garver's at a 333, and Tavares is at a 500. So Brian Wu, albeit it's been early in his career, and that's why these numbers are so high. Certainly I expect things to regress to the means, but big time players, big time games make big time things happen. And Corey Seager, albeit he's priced at plus 120, very much lower than I'd like to be, is the guy I had to go with here. Just so you look at the card, you look at the opportunities. The reason I stay 120 is not necessarily the spot that I want to be in, is because of that 2 factor. So, if we catch 2 wins on plus 145s and we've got, 3 or 4 plays out there, we can turn a profit, or we can, kind of break even. Whereas when you got that plus 120, you really need to get creative. So I would not be mad at anybody putting the home run prop out there, even if it's that half unit. You guys know I talk about that a lot. But Seager's got 4 at-bats, 3 hits, a home run, and 5 ribbies against Brian Wu in his early career. So might be a tough night for Wu. We'll see what that looks like overall. But I just felt like, again, a team that's in the hunt, game that's going to really matter. These guys are going to really try. They're going to give it their all. These other guys may or may not have opportunities to get things done. I'll tell you where I don't want my money is on the Cubs or Cubs players right now. I love what I heard last night where they that Cubs acronym there. It was what is it? I forgot. I can't even remember it now. It was continually. I don't remember what it was. It was bad, is what it was. And they blow it in September consistently. Blowing it in September, and I botched that thing up, but it was definitely made me laugh, and it's very true for what I see about the Cubs. The last spot I'm going to roll to, unless you want to talk about
Before you go to your last spot, this is I already talked all the way about the Seattle. I talked both sides. I talked all Rangers, Mariners. I remembered what I was going to say. Arizona. Now we've got Gallen, their ace, the guy they need in a must-win spot on the fucking mountain. Now Blake Snell is what I think is the Cy Young. What if Zach Gallen goes 9 today versus this Astros team and wins the game and puts them, pretty much puts Arizona in? Does he steal it?
He's got to, doesn't he?
Can he? I mean, he's in the playoffs and one team's not, but one had a fucking year of the gods, bro. No one's done what Blake Snell's done since Bob Gibson type shit, bro. It's been it's been crazy.
I just that those two games to me are going to be must-watch TV. They'll be on a split screen side-by-side action going on for me because it's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be right around the same time as well, so it should be a ton of fun for the old Friday Outlook here. But yeah, I think that's definitely a case to be, and that's why I think those games are the most exciting. There's still things to play for, and that's where you want to have your money. You don't want to be taking, pot shots at teams that don't give a shit and really could pack it up, and they probably already packed it up. They got their vacations planned. They've already made arrangements for the house that they're renting before they move back home. The movers have packed all this shit up as well, and their next trip is back to the dugout to clean out and go home. So I don't want to put my money in those.
They're so excited, bro. 162 game season.
Hell yeah!
And their wife and whoever their girlfriend, bro, they've got tickets to Cancun, Tahiti. Yep. They're fucking on a plane to somewhere far with very light blue water.
Right. Fact. They might even tell the training staff, box my shit up. I'm going to take a
mail it home.
Yeah, I'm going to meet my wife at the connector on our way to Tahiti. So that's the kind of deal that happens with this time of year. And again, I don't want my money anywhere near that kind of. There's a lot going on. Football's really starting to ramp up, and it's been a lot of success. That's not where I'm going to put my spot and my opportunity. But again, from a Seager spot, from a Tucker spot, from a Tatis spot and a Carpenter spot. Those are guys that I do feel like have an opportunity to get the job done tonight. And then I'm going to give you guys this kind of little, it's the moonshot, I'm going to call it here. It's a plus 220. And if we're going to take a stab at something to win this season and finish it off big, it's been a great season already, bet size appropriately, but make sure you save some of those winnings that we've racked up through the year. But I got to look over at this game here with the Cubs and Brewers. And I just talked about the Cubs in the situation where they need it, but man, I can't get there. I can't get there with any of the Cubs. In fact, none of the Cubs against Colin Rea, they really don't have any experience. Cody Bellinger's got 2 hits in the 4 spot, but he's got no, or 2 at bats rather. But every single one of these guys has been shut down by Rea on the success factor. So can't go on that side of things for a team that needs it. That's kind of not a spot that I want to be in. But if I look over on the Milwaukee Brewers side of things, I see Christian Yelich. He's in the 1 spot. I'm assuming that's going to do a lot with why he's in the moon position, unless he ends up getting scratched. I just refreshed and I see that he's in the projected lineup. Again, a guy that's got things to play for, and he's going up there against Hendricks. You guys know the first thing I look for is who's got that experience at the plate for the guy that's faced these pitchers. And nobody on today's card has more experience than Yelich against Kyle Hendricks. He's got 50 at-bats against Kyle Hendricks. He's got 12 hits. He's got 2 home runs. He's got 5 RBIs. Again, the downside, he's in the 1 spot, and this could be a real difficult game where the Cubs start to lock it down. But Kyle Hendricks is another situation as well. One of the best teams that Kyle Hendricks pitches against is the Milwaukee Brewers. He's got a 182 average across the Milwaukee Brewers this year in Major League Baseball, and he locks down lefties. So a lot of strikes kind of going against Christian Yelich as a lefty in the 1 spot to get it done. But if you're looking for that extra little taste, at plus 220, that's kind of the moonshot that I would take a look at. I'm going to get some money on it, and I'm going to hope that he gets there and goes yardstick right off the gate, just to kind of round me out and give me the full 5-pack here. But just something I would just a little sprinkle on that guy. You don't want to go blow the whole bankroll on a guy that I just gave you all the negatives and then still told you that I'm going to throw a couple dollars on it. So what do you think?
I'm all with it, bro. If he needs contract incentives, bro, it's the time to play a guy. So they're not going to sit him lefty on lefty. That'd be douchebag by the coach.
Totally agree. So
I mean, and Yelich is a righty anyway, so they're not going to sit him. They better not sit him. Fuck that shit. Hendricks is a righty. So let's talk recaps of Ribeyes with Mike special edition because it is the last Balking Dead of the year. Yeah. And he gonna start his day off, guys, with the Detroit Tigers, hot off a Detroit Lions win, taking Kerry Carpenter, guys, at plus 165. Then he's gonna head on over to the Padres game, guys, as this guy may just be the Padres whisperer, and he's taking Tatis's RBI at plus 165. And then he's gonna go to the sweet spot, and he's gonna head right on into the McGuck. Kyle Tucker, guys, plus 145. No trash cans needed. He's a good hitter. Then he gonna end with Corey Seager, guys. Not the number that he normally bets, but on a card with a lot of teams that just don't give a fuck. This is what he buckled in on. And Corey Seager's RBI is at a plus 120. Now, the man couldn't leave without a moonshot. without a dart throw, guys. And he going to take a plus 220 shot on Christian Yelich's RBI as well to finish off his day. Mike, I appreciate you, bro. I wish I would have started this hitting prop shit at the beginning of the year, but I'm glad I found you and met you. I consider you a friend, bro, and I'm glad you've kicked ass this year, bro. Thank you.
Same to you, man. I appreciate it. Big show. Shout out to you as well. You guys do a great job with this thing. You're consistent. You're daily. You're in, you're out. You're finding winners. You guys have had a great September as a result of the hard work you put in. And I hope everybody in the chat appreciates it. Make sure you like and retweet the content. Let him know what Sharpie's all about here. He's the K-Prop Whisperer. Big Show's the Production Whisperer. And, I'm just trying to come in here and do my part to give you guys that opportunity to stack that cash. So make sure we cook these books. Appreciate everybody. Have a good playoff postseason baseball run. We'll see everybody around Pub Sports Radio. Peace.
All right. Peace. Big Show, I do have controls if you got to go because you're lagging, but I will then do what I got to do and just read through the chat. All right, guys, I'm going to read out the best bets for those who threw it out there. Justin McElvoy is on Corey Seager over 1.5 bases. Yeah, matches up with our RBI at a plus 120. Yeah, buddy. So let's keep it rolling and rolling. Yeah, rolling. Yeah, so much easier to see if people put in the Wee Wee Pubbin, because then I could just keep skipping as there's a whole lot. Shout out to the chat guys for coming in. A lot of people didn't drop best bets, it looks like, but thank you guys. I know I thank the guys that came on. Thank you guys. Without you guys, there would be no Balking Dead. We've grown this show from 25 people live at the beginning last year to we pulled 100 quite a bit and kept it over 60, 70 pretty much the whole year live. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for trusting me. Thanks for tailing me when you do tail me. I know money is not hard to come by, so I appreciate it, guys. So thank you, guys. Until next year, let's stay solid. See you guys on all the other streams on Pub Sports Radio. And, yeah, bye-bye.